So, we all know what happened in that main event. I'll get to talking about that a little bit later as I, progress through this fight, depending how long it goes. But before we get on that, I was having a hard time trying to upload a Volkov showcase. It just was working for me. But finally able to get one at least. I do have surgery scheduled the 14th. And that's going to take me out of commission. It's surgery for LASIK eye surgery. So your boy won't be blind. You feel me? It's been a long time coming. But, Alexander Volkov came away with a pretty good win in heavyweight division. Win over Tuivasa. And that's a dangerous bout for him to take. He's lost fights to guys like Derek Lewis, where he's winning the bout the entire time and then gets caught with a blistering right hand, knocked out. And Tuivasa needed to win here. He really needed to defeat Volkov. And I remember there was something that Renato Moicano had said, that he doesn't think that Tuivasa takes his training relatively seriously, just based on his physique, based on how he carries himself, drinking all the beer. And, at heavyweight, they are privy to get away with more stuff that you're not going to really see in the lower weight classes. Volkov, however, a lot of the narrative from after the main event was the topic of game plans and, great defense from Sean Strickland and counter offense when he needs to, not overextending. And on the flip side of that was almost non-existent coaching or, little stuff like that. But in this case, from Tuivasa, he has not really improved much. He has not improved much. And he is a fun, fantastic fighter to watch. But, okay, switches down there. But it's concerning if you're a heavyweight and you're getting submitted by an Ezekiel choke. Right, an Ezekiel choke, a choke that's more likely to happen in the gi, and your opponent is not really known for submissions like that. Like, most of his wins are by knockout, and you became submission number 4, and it's a very low percentage submission MMA. You gotta ask yourself the right questions, like, what are you doing here? Because I think it was against Sergey Spivak or Junior Dos Santos that Tuivasa had got finished again. I think it was he was punching back and mount. He was just punching back and mount. Showed no awareness of jiu-jitsu or trying to hip out. Bring him in, get your elbow to the inside of the knee, and then ball yourself up. Try some variation of an escape from bottom mount. There was none of that. And just like that, you can't afford to be flat. Oh my gosh. Flat on your back in the mount position, especially in MMA. That is just a recipe for disaster. That's a nice pull counter. And, just gotta manage the clock here. Made a mistake. That's all fine. Felt like we were doing well that round, but it is what it is. All right. Volkov stayed very, very disciplined to his game plan. Very, very disciplined with regards to his game plan. And I was very, very impressed to see that. Of course, I didn't watch the fights live. I only watched some of the prelims and went to bed a little bit early. Had some things I had to do. And then Marshall had called me. So I didn't get to watch this fight live. I had to go back and watch it after the main event. Disappointed me for a myriad of reasons. But disappointed me on one end, but it was good, solid defensive work from the now champion Sean Strickland. Especially game plan wise, his corner did a fantastic job. He did a fantastic job of calling out what Israel does really well. But I also, part of it, based on what we have on film and based on what I've even said in my Adesanya showcase, I said a lot of Sean's strengths come from discouraging his opponents from firing off their offense. If he will have a lot of success, if he can discourage you from feeling comfortable throwing off offense. I said this in my Israel Adesanya showcase around the 3-minute mark, and that unfortunately ended up happening. But part of that too was, if one of your tells is your cross head kick, right? One of the tells that Eric Nixon was talking about, right? If you're aware that now the corner is calling out your main things, I thought Adesanya would be the type to adjust mid-fight. Like, okay, he's thinking I'm going to go high now, I'm going to go low here. And then where he thinks I'm going to go low, I'm going to go high here. And one thing that was oddly absent from the bout, which I talked about around, if you guys watched the reaction video with Marshall, I said, I don't know if he, I think I stopped watching. I mean, It's obviously me in the video, but like I think I stopped watching around the 60-minute mark because I remember seeing his reaction. It was just funny to see. But I mentioned him like he needs to intercept with a clinch, because if you don't have a wrestling background, right? If you don't have a wrestling background, for as great as a striker as you are, that is going to only be one thing that the other person has to be concerned about, and they're going to be focused on taking away your space and crowding you with the boxing. So Adesanya had shown pretty good expertise in the clinch, and obviously not to the devastation, right, of Anderson Silva versus Rich Franklin, but you can, in those brief moments that Sean is deflecting your shots, I would have thought that his corner would have told him, hey, when he deflects your shots, that's your moment to start to clinch. Not even attack the body, attack the forearms. Start to target that part of his body so he's not going to be comfortable trying to Philly shell or block off the shoulders, right? And you're going to increase the likelihood of damaging that hand. None of that was said in the corner. And after round 4, it was pretty much a done deal. Like, it was pretty much a done deal based on the body language of Israel Adesanya. And speaking of body language, as we go back to the fighter that we're currently showcasing, Alexander Volkov never really wavered from his game plan. From the beginning of the bell, there was trading kicks a little bit early, found himself right at the end of his range, didn't engage in an unnecessary firefight with Tuivasa. Tuivasa started throwing some naked kicks out of frustration, it kind of seemed like, got popped for his efforts, caught a kick of Tuivasa, and I think stung him from there too. Dropped him at the end of the first, and in the second round also ended up on top again. And we're talking a lot about preparation, right? With both the main event and the co-main event, right? I've already showcased Adesanya and Strickland, but if I can in time, I'll try to. Maybe I'll drop a Kevin Holland, and then I'll see if I can have time for another Strickland showcase. But it's just game plan wise, the game plan. How well you can carry out a game plan is up to your tool set. So for Tuivasa to get finished by the Ezekiel choke, that's not a high percentage submission. As I said, it's not a high percentage submission. And for you to get caught by that, by somebody who doesn't really submit people that often, it's not a good sign. For Volkov, it's great. He keeps himself in contention, right? Alexander Volkov was able to keep his win streak, was able to keep it up to 3, He had to come off of a first round straight armbar loss to the man we're currently facing in Body Rock now and dropped now. And Tom Aspinall, prior to that, lost a decision against Cyril Gane, and then prior to that, lost a decision against, Curtis Blaydes. But he's won in between those bouts where he's lost to, Curtis, lost to Cyril, lost to Tom. And then there was a bout against Derek Lewis where he was on a 6-fight win streak. And he was beating Derek Lewis, right? He was beating Derek Lewis, and then got KO'd with about a second left, about a couple seconds left of that third round. So for Alexander Volkov, it was really, really good for him to acquire this victory over Tuivasa. And then Ezekiel choke is just out of pocket, in his own coach, just out of pocket. Like just thinking about it, it's just, man, because it's just something that shit not supposed to happen. It's just not supposed to happen. And it kind of reminds me of stuff that Marshall talks about. Not even Marshall. Well, he's brought it up. But say Gordon Ryan, and he talks about the jiu-jitsu community in comparison to how a lot of NCAA wrestlers train for the most part, or combat sports athletes, and say boxing with regards to film study. This guy's just being a denying dingo, but okay. I'm gonna stand up. But when you only spend time training your strengths and you don't put the fuck's going on? Okay. Don't put yourself in compromising positions. If you end up in that compromising position, you are going to have a horrible day. I remember back in high school, there was a wrestler I knew. He was in the state finals. And he had said, man, if I ever got caught in my back, I wouldn't know what to do. Because he was having a dominant season. Made the state finals. I'm not going to say the names because I'm not going to say the names. But he got caught with a cement mixer or something like that. Something that put him on his back. Didn't get pinned. But he wasn't able to come back from that because he just gave up near fall. Thought you would duck. That's a hard rock. With the clinch. Elbow. Woo! But yeah, so I remember like thinking of stuff like that. You really got to be able to be put in these positions, especially at heavyweight, where like those positions are going to be devastating to be in. You gotta pay, and you gotta get those reps in. Gotta get those reps in. I don't know what's gonna be next for Mr. Tuivasa after a loss like that. You know, three losses in a row. Exciting fighter. Dana, you know, he says like he fought a hell of a fight, but I've said it time and time again myself in my career. When I start fighting, I don't want to be the guy that's known for being tough. You know, being tough, it's something that, yeah, you can get loved by the fans for it, but being tough, that's an attribute you should already have when you're fighting, right? Like, it's already something that should be there, but you should be drilling. You should be practicing your defense first and foremost. Your offense is obviously super important too, and you want to be able to get into your fights and try to get the most damage off as much as possible without sustaining damage. Now, that's always easier said than done. No change. Body here. Side control so busted. But yeah, it's just I don't know what's gonna be next for this dude. But for Volkov, I don't even know who they're gonna match up Volkov with next, right? He got that W. So now what's next for him? Because the heavyweight division, we have John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, which, by the way, I get it. Stipe was the champion beforehand, and Ngannou's gone from the division. I get it, the name and whatnot, but it's been like, what, 2 years since Stipe's fought. Jones fought Ciryl Gane, and, you know, made quick work of him, further showcasing the grappling inefficiencies of most of the heavyweight division. You know, we have guys like Jilton Almeida there, though. We also have, who else? Oh, yeah, Sergey Pavlovich, who knocked out Curtis Blades. This guy's gassed. It's nothing better than seeing your opponent get gassed. Hold on. Circle. Man. There we go. So even though we don't have the benefit of in boxing range because of that penalty on tall fighters, done a fantastic job using the kicks and the range of Alexander Volkov, except right there apparently. We're just gonna draw some strikes. Oh. Nothing there. Switch kick. Switch kick. Uh-oh. That big whiff cost him. He is. Oh, egregious knee. Head kick. That should take him out. There we go. Yeah, that's as clean as it can get right there. Respect, good fight. I was saying, like, I don't know what's next for him. I don't know who he's gonna necessarily fight. I don't see a Ciryl Gane rematch in his future. We have they can book Gane versus Pavlovich. I don't know what Curtis Blades is gonna be doing. It's just a really odd state for the heavyweight division where we have a bunch of fresh contenders there that, you know, they gave the title fight to the guy who hasn't won a fight in years, bro. Like, Stipe is not even, you know, hasn't had a ranked win in forever. So, yeah, is what it is. I don't know. I would like to see Volkov versus Stipe, and then they would have done Sergey versus Jones or something like that. You know, there's just a bunch of other funner matchups they could have made in this time. But that's going to be it for Mr. Alexander Volkov. Got the victory. Mary 17, I appreciate y'all. I'm out of here. Much love.